for you. Hebrews 13:17, prophets on the scene, wash your souls clean before we go into the gasoline. Took a while to understand Psalms 111:10. Brother calling me from Mississippi, trying to build a man. I flushed 14 grams, it made angels rejoice. It made me and Satan divorce, no spousal support. I'm running the course with my hand to the plow. Now putting in the pebble the way Soldier James taught me how. Break it out. It strengthened my spirit when we in the building. Ain't no feeling like giving the precept for a precept given. Preach, MOV condition. Teach, 7-second living. We, 2 Timothy 2:15, represent us with a common interest. Prophesy to the wind, reveal the man of sin, enduring to the end. We the watchmen for Israel, cause we watch it for Israel. We the watchmen for Israel, cause we watch it for Israel. We the watchmen for Israel, cause we watch it for Israel. We the watchmen for Israel, cause we watch it for Israel. We the watchmen for Israel, cause we watch it for Israel. We the watchmen for Israel, cause we watch it for Israel. We the watchmen for Israel, cause we watch it for
Hey, shalom, shalom. Most High in Christ bless. Most High in Christ bless. You are tuning in to another episode of the Watchman Radio, the decree of the watchers. I'm Officer Semachiah.
Shalom, shalom. Most High in Christ bless you. This is Officer Yochanan.
We in this building.
So as we always start with, we're going to go to Ezekiel chapter 3. Today we're going to be dealing with, the title is The Liar, the Thief, the French. Let's read that in Ezekiel 3. Ezekiel chapter 3, let's start at verse 4.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 3 and verse 4. And he said unto me, Son of man, go get thee unto the house of Israel, and speak with my words unto them.
So this is our job. This is what we have been called to do. Build ourselves up and go and speak to our people. Read.
For thou art not sent to a people of a strange speech and of an hard language, but to the house of Israel.
Because we come out of the same lifestyles that many of our people are still engulfed in, so we can come and speak to you because we speak the same language.
Right.
We speak the same term. We come from the same lifestyle. Read.
Not too many people of a strange speech and of an hard language, whose words thou canst not understand. Surely, had I sent thee to them, they would have hearkened unto thee.
Because we understand the struggles. We understand all of that. We understand all of those things that our people go through. That's why the Most High called us in, built us up, and now we coming out, going right back to our people to bring them in so they can be built up as well and do the same thing, same cycle. Jump to verse 17.
Verse 17, Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore, hear the word at my mouth and give them warning from me. When I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die.
So our job, because we have been commissioned by the Most High to go to our people with the words of God, with the Bible. Read. With the laws. Read.
And thou givest him not warning, nor speakest to warn the wicked from his wicked way, to save his life. The same wicked man shall die in his iniquity.
So it's saying if the Most High give us a word, but we decide not to warn, not to speak the word, not to say nothing, not to give no warning, and that wicked man die, read.
But his blood will I require at thine hand.
His blood is going to be on our hand. His death is going to be on us because we didn't warn him, so he have an opportunity to correct himself. Read.
Yet, if thou warn the wicked, and he turn not from his wickedness, nor from his wicked way, he shall die in his iniquity. But thou hast delivered thy soul.
But if we do warn you, if we do tell you, which is one of the things that we're doing with all of these radio shows, all these classes, all of these things that's going out, we doing our part. We letting you know what's going on in the community. We letting you know the wrongs, the sins, the things that's going wrong, so you can correct it. But if you decide not to fix it, did we finish that verse already?
Yes, sir.
It says, if you die in your iniquity, we delivered our soul. Why? Because we told you about it. We let you know. We gave you the warning that the Most High told us to give you. So the blood is off of our hands. So that's the purpose. That's what the title of the show is, the Watchman Radio, the decree of the watchers. Our job is to the various things that's going on in the earth. that's going on in the news, that's going on wherever, it's our job to present it and show you why it's happening and what's the end result's going to be. That's our job. That's our aim. Let's pull up that first video.
Haiti wasn't the richest colony in the world? Who said
Does it
that?
sound good on that?
In the 1700s, when it was called Saint-Domingue or Haiti. Haiti wasn't the richest colony in the world? Who said that? In the 1700s, when it was called Saint-Domingue or Haiti, it produced 60% of the world's coffee and 40% of its sugar, generating more wealth than all 13 American colonies combined. Think of that. But that wealth was built on the backs of over 500,000 enslaved Africans. They endured brutal conditions, as we know, of course, but they fought back. Resilience. And in 1804, Haiti became the world's first free black republic and the first nation to permanently abolish slavery. None of that. We don't need none of that. What happened next is rarely taught. In 1825, France returned with warships and demanded reparations. Not for Haiti's suffering, but for France's loss of enslaved labor and colonial profits. What? Haiti was forced to pay 150 million francs, over $20 billion today, to its former oppressors. Does that make sense? No. To meet the demand, Haiti took out massive loans from French and U.S. banks. It took over 122 years to pay it off. They finally paid it. They finally made the payment in 1947, less than 100 years ago. The independence debt crippled Haiti's economy from the start. Money that could have been built schools, hospitals, and infrastructures was funneled to foreign powers like France, the U.S., like we just mentioned. Now, nearly 2 centuries later, history is finally being acknowledged. In 2025, last week, France's President Emmanuel Macron publicly recognized the damage caused by the unjust depth of France's role in Haiti's suffering and called it a profound moral failure. So when people talk about Haiti's poverty, remember, it wasn't inevitable. It was manufactured and controlled. It wasn't broken. It was betrayed. We all know what to do. Unity is strength. Let's talk about it. One love.
So play that play that one more time. How long is the video? Play like the last half of it. It don't say? Yeah, go like to like the halfway point.
Its former oppressors. Does that make sense?
Go back.
No.
Go back a little
To
bit.
meet the demand, 150 million francs, over $20 billion today, to its former oppressors.
Probably go like to 50. I'm just trying to get that full thought.
Reparations. Not for Haiti's suffering, but for France's
All right,
loss
my bad. A
of
little bit-
enslaved
little bit
labor
more.
and colonial.
Probably 40. Yeah, that should be good.
What happened next is rarely taught. In 1825, France returned with warships and demanded reparations.
So
Not for
pause
Haiti's
it.
suffering, but for
So we see, 1804 they got their freedom.
Yep.
But then what's that, 21? It's 21 years later?
Just about.
1825, 21 years later, France returned after the fact, and this is what they did. Go ahead.
none of that. What happened next is rarely taught. In 1825, France returned with warships and demanded reparations. Not for Haiti's suffering, but for France's loss of enslaved labor and colonial profits. What? Haiti was forced to pay 150 million francs, over $20 billion today, to its former oppressors. Does that make sense? No. To meet the demand, Haiti took out massive loans from French and U.S. banks. It took over 122 years to pay it off. They finally paid it. They finally made the payment in 1947, less than 100 years ago. The independence debt crippled Haiti's economy from the start. Money that could have been built schools, hospitals, and infrastructures was funneled to foreign powers like France, the US, like we just mentioned. Now, nearly 2 centuries later, history is finally being acknowledged. In 2025, last week, France's President Emmanuel Macron publicly recognized the damage caused by the unjust debt of France's role in Haiti's suffering and called it a profound moral failure. So when people talk about Haiti's poverty, remember, it wasn't inevitable. It was manufactured and controlled. It wasn't broken. It was betrayed. We all know what to do. Unity is strength. Let's talk about it. One love.
So we see here the wickedness of France.
Right.
Haiti got their freedom, then France returned, and Haiti got their freedom from slavery, forced labor. They said the video said they had 60% of the world's coffee,
Yep.
and 40% of the sugar.
Yep.
So it was a rich colony, but they was enslaved. They was enslaved on an island. They got freedom in 1804. Then 21 years later, France like, you know what? Wait a minute, they messed up my economy.
How is that possible though? Like you sitting on all these resources. You got the coffee game on lock. You got
Right.
the sugar game on lock. You sitting on it. You own it. But you are poor. You can't actually. This is how they do it. They won't allow you to sell to anybody.
Right.
What they do is they put restrictions on who you can sell to,
Right.
and you can only sell to them. That's another level of gangster right there.
Yeah.
A lot of these brothers and people in the world that they think they tough or they gangsters. Nah,
Yep.
France was dealing and is still dealing on a whole nother different level.
Right. That's the white man. And it said they was when they came back. They said y'all owe us $150 million.
Damn.
And Haiti was indebted to it they was indebted to pay that, and they didn't pay it off to 120 years later because they fought for their freedom and got it for what's the word, unjust slavery. They got freedom, and then the people that enslaved them came back and said, "Hey, you owe us. You made us take a loss.
That ain't
So
no
now
freedom.
you owe us."
That ain't freedom.
Exactly.
That's not freedom. If you had the strength and the capacity to kick somebody out your land, but they came back and they demanded for over 100 years that you pay
Right.
for what they did to you, that's not freedom.
Exactly.
The hell is this?
That's
Exactly.
crazy. Hey, that's them curses, though. The Lord said that will happen to us.
Yep.
He said that a man of fierce conscience that won't regard the old or the young. Because
Yep.
they don't care about the state of the Haitians or
Right.
quote-unquote Haitians. They don't care what they had to endure, what they had to go through,
Yep.
all those years that they had to put aside building infrastructure.
Right.
All the years they had to put aside exploring options on how to exploit their own resources. All the years they had to put aside healthcare,
Right.
education.
Yep.
All the years they had to put all that aside to give money to the Americas or to France.
Right.
So
And they
that-
said they had to take out loans to do it. So now they owe. Not only do they owe
Double
the
debt.
it's double debt.
Damn.
So they hit them with $150 million debt.
Damn.
And they said they had to take loans from the French and from the U.S.
$150 million ain't really much.
But it said
I think today's term is
yeah,
like two in
30
the billions.
It's did they say 30 billion? I think he said 30 billion today.
How can they even expect them to pay that? They wasn't set up to actually
Right.
create money and so
Right.
what would they the devil, boy.
Basically, you think you got freedom? You know what? Let me put this on you.
Damn.
We still gonna control you.
Bind them with heavy burdens.
Yep.
Ah,
Exactly. Well, let's get that real quick. Deuteronomy 28:49.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
This is what happened when the French when they first came over there to Haiti. They came over there with war in their hearts. They came over there with the mentality to conquer.
Yes.
They didn't give a damn about the land. They
Right.
they wanted to take over the land, and whoever the people that was on the land, they wanted pretty much to put them in slavery. They
Yes.
enslaved them.
Yes.
It said he brought a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth. Read.
Verse 50. A nation of fierce countenance,
A nation of fierce countenance, meaning they had war on their mind. They had conquer. That's all they had on their mind. Read.
which shall not regard the person of the old,
They didn't give a damn about the older, elderly man. Read.
nor show favor to the young.
Or the young baby, the toddler. They had no care, no regard. Read.
And he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle
Uh-huh.
and the fruit of thy land
Read.
until thou be destroyed.
And this is what they did to Haiti. Mm-hmm. They ate the fruit of the cattle, they ate the fruit of the land, and they did it until the land was destroyed. Read.
Which also shall not leave thee either corn, wine, or oil, or the increase of thine kind, or flocks of thy sheep, until he have destroyed thee.
This is what we watching what the French did to Haiti.
Right.
Let's pull up that article real quick.
Bring it out.
Haitian independence debt. The Haitian independence debt involves an 1825 agreement between Haiti and France that included France demanding an indemnity.
So wait, hold on. So
Bring it out.
Esau is crafty with their words. It says, how you got in the same sentence, it says it involves an agreement, but then a few words later it say France demanded. That's not an agreement.
That's not an agreement. That's forced coercion, whatever you want to call it.
Go ahead.
France demanding an indemnity of 150 million francs
That's no Vaseline.
in 5 annual payments of 30 million to be paid by Haiti and claim
5 annual payments of $30 million. Huh? Where they getting this $30 million from?
Right.
And this is back in 1825
Right.
on Haiti. They doing the same thing to Africa,
Yes.
to various African colonies. So all these evils that they doing, and they consider themselves a good people or God-fearing nation.
They definitely think they God-fearing. They definitely think they democratic. Look at what they got going on with Burkina Faso. You know, with Ibrahim Traoré. I think I said it right. But he kicked their ass out the land. Like, hey, listen, I ain't dealing with y'all. Y'all oppressed us for so long. He want his resource-rich country to actually thrive for themselves and not have to depend on them like his fathers and the generations before him did. So, hey, to this day, they still exploiting so-called dark nations.
Right. Hey, pull up the definition. Type in indemnity in Google real quick, because we looking at this. It says it involves an agreement between Haiti and France that included France demanding an indemnity of 150 million francs. Let's look up indemnity real quick, because Esau be putting this stuff together, and they make it seem like they put certain words in there to make it seem like they ain't doing no evil.
Yes.
Like these other nations are, like the people that they oppressing are agreeing to the oppression. Read that.
And it kind of sounds like what the Apolopatetics claim about Deuteronomy 28:68. They'll offer themselves for
Right,
sale,
yep.
but nobody will buy you. No, that's
Yep.
not what that means. That's not what that is.
indemnity, security or protection against a loss or other financial burden.
Security or protection against. Say that again.
Take off the go back up to the where y'all got in the search bar. Just type in the word indemnity. That's a different definition.
Indemnity.
Yeah, search. Just type in the word indemnity. Not netto in the on Google. Wait. What that say? What that say?
Miriam. Indemnity.
Security against. Nah. Just type in indemnity.
No. That's a good definition. Read that. Go down again. It says it's a noun that means security against hurt. So that's like an appeasement. Like, I'm gonna give you this 150 so that you don't bring down the wrath of God on me. So that's basically what they're saying. It's like almost like a bond or a contract that say, listen, I'm fulfilling my end of the agreement. You got to fulfill your end of the agreement by not hurting me.
So read it real quick.
Indemnity is a noun that means security against hurt, loss, or damage, or exemption from incurred penalties or liabilities. It can also refer to something that indemnifies.
Incurred penalties or liabilities. Like, for instance, if we get a fine, you know, they got the little red light things. You run the red lights, they going to flash your plates. In order to not incur any subsequent fines or fees, you got to pay a certain amount.
Right.
And that's what that was, that $150 million. That's a lot. And it's set up to almost ensure that they will suffer the indemnity because they can't pay no $150 million. Not being a productive country, they couldn't pay that.
So basically, what they saying is they pretty much just robbed Haiti of all its resources.
Robbed them blind, set them up for failure. Them guaranteeing their slavery.
Yep. So go ahead.
It can also refer to something that indemnifies, such as a fee for service plan or a payment.
It's still in there?
So let's pull up the other go up and take the DEF out of there. Y'all ain't getting the same thing I got. That's Google?
Damn,
It don't give you no it don't give you the AI overview. Oh, see, I'm looking at this screen. Go ahead.
Indemnity refers to protection from loss, damage, or injury,
No, that ain't the same thing.
often through
The hell?
insurance or a contractual agreement.
So I guess y'all AI ain't like my AI. But they don't say the same thing.
That's that Android.
All right, go ahead.
It can also mean freedom from penalty or liability, or a payment made to compensate for loss or injury. In essence, indemnity is about safeguarding someone from potential financial harm or responsibility.
I'm finna post a picture real quick. That say the same thing as the definition that we just looked at.
Yep.
Y'all want me to post to that?
A shout out to the leadership of Israel United in Christ. You know what I mean? What they've been doing lately, they've been going in on friends, and we're gonna continue the tradition. You might have seen the leadership do it. You might have not seen the leadership do it. Maybe you under a rock and don't know what's going on. But Israel United in Christ has been banned from France. We have been, our organization that was set up there in France, our French chapter, has been dissolved. Do we have the news article that states that? We don't have the news article that states that. If we got the news article that states IUIC's dissolution in France, please put that up so that our viewers can see and understand why we coming from this angle, talking about the French, right? What we plan to do is we plan to expose the hypocrisy and their reasoning for dissolving the organization and point out and highlight that the thing they're accusing us of, they're guilty of that and more in their history and today. Yeah, so just stay tuned. Did you?
Right. No, yeah, I just sent it to him. And just to that point, if you ain't got a chance, go back and watch the bishop's class from last night because he addressed it as well, showing their hypocrisy with banning us for teaching certain things.
Right.
But when you look at the Jehovah's Witnesses, they teach that they say the same things, but they still set up. They ain't been dissolved. That's how you know this truth is the truth.
That's right.
Everything else is lies and falsehood.
That's right.
Because they attacking this truth because they don't want this truth to get out because they know as this truth goes forth, their kingdom is going down.
That's right.
As we rise, they fall. That's biblical prophecy. And this is spirit. This is the Bible. Bring the Most High God bringing these things to pass. We not going to get no arms or do nothing to go away. We warring with the Bible. We warring with the words of God.
Right.
And that's what's going on. So that's why they're trying to dissolve us. That's why they're trying to stop us from getting this gospel around to the four corners of the earth.
That's right.
Pull it up real quick.
All right, let's get it.
Since IUIC France has been dissolved by the French government, its legal status no longer exists, and therefore, no IUIC members cannot legally meet as IUIC friends. Under Article L212-1 of the Code de la Sécurité,
I need that.
Make that big. We can't even see that. What's going on? So they telling us what we can and can't do as an organization in France. Read it again from the top.
Since IUIC France has been officially dissolved by the French government, its legal status no longer exists. And therefore, no, IUIC members cannot legally meet as IUIC friends.
Can't meet as IUIC friends. You can't throw IUIC nothing on the assembling of the group. Go ahead.
Under Article L212-1 of the Code de la Sécurité, when an association is dissolved, all official activities are banned, including religious services.
Religious services, meeting for the Sabbath, for the new moon. You know what I mean? The weddings that we have. We can't go out and we can't clean up the neighborhood like we usually do. We can't go as a group and then do the youth violence prevention thing. We can't do anything as a group to actually uplift the population of the Israelites, the scattered Israelites that's in France. We can't help God's children under the banner of IUIC in France. Go ahead.
Public or private gatherings.
Go ahead.
Proselytism.
This is
that's
public.
going out and teaching camp, proselytizing. Go ahead.
It says public or private.
Oh,
so
man.
whether you're doing it in publicly, like us going out and we are teaching on the streets as well, or we gathering at a public place, can't do that. Or if you got your own home.
Damn.
They saying that you can't gather in your own home.
Damn.
So that means, then just looking at pull it back up. Just looking at the detail and all of that, that shows that somebody
Bring it out.
Somebody was
Bring it out.
Somebody
you touching on something.
Somebody was sitting amongst us.
Yep.
Feeding them information.
This is everything they do. House of government that's governing a whole entire country, right? How are they able to pinpoint what it is we got going on specifically? Because this is a private thing. When we come in here on the Sabbath day, we ain't doing this out in the open. Right. You don't know all the ins and outs and the workings just by looking at the building or having knowledge that we exist. Somebody's feeding you. Hey, you touched on something. You touched on something.
Go ahead.
Proselytism and teaching sessions under the name or structure of the dissolved group. Any attempt to reconstitute the dissolved group, even informally or under a different name, is illegal and can result in criminal prosecution. Even individuals meeting privately can be prosecuted if the purpose of the meeting is to continue the group's ideology or mission, the group uses symbols, dress codes, rhetoric, or materials related
Symbols, dress code, and rhetoric. The rhetoric is Shalom Mosiah Christ bless.
Right. Yep.
The rhetoric is, we teaching our people who they are according to the Bible.
Right.
So if you, as a group of people, going around doing that, it's a problem.
So
go ahead.
So that also, they putting it on here specifically the IUIC.
Yeah.
But that's shutting down all Israel.
It does. It does. Because you ain't just got to have it on purpose. They aim it at the entire nation.
Right. Yep.
Because that's how a lot of even so-called black Hebrew Israelites talk of another camp. Shalom Ak,
Yep.
Kwam Yashala Ak.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
So it's the same thing.
So while we got our brothers and sisters so misled from these other camps here hating us, the hatred that you have for us
Right.
is unwarranted. Understand that there's an enemy attacking not only us, but all of us.
Right.
Not only IUIC, but you brothers with the black leather headbands, you brothers with the sheepskin, with the garment that you put on the Sabbath to teach and take it off and go in the store on the Sabbath. You brothers too. A lot of you camps, man, they aiming at all of us.
Right. You pull it back up.
Oh, that's the video that explains everything we stated. All right, let's hear it. Let's hear it all put together.
Hey, yo, IUIC just got banned in France. And here's why. L'Exploitation put out an article stating that Israel United in Christ is prohibited in France. The article states, the IUIC, the French branch of an American association of the same name, promotes a message according to which black, Hispanic, and Native American population are the real Israelites, says the government in its decree, a de facto anti-Semitic speech to which are added multiple calls for violence and hatred from other communities, which earned him this dissolution pronounced on Wednesday. So since IUIC teaches that the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the indeed Israelites, according to Deuteronomy 28, Leviticus 26, Jeremiah 17:4, that truth has now become a hate speech, violence, and anti-Semitic, and has been outlawed in France. In the book of Psalms, chapter 83 and verse 3, it says, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. Who is God's hidden ones and his people? The 12 tribes of Israel, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Verse 4, they have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. This is why France has outlawed Israel United in Christ from teaching the Bible. France doesn't want the real Israelites, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to awake to their true nationality.
So I'm just watching this again. This made me search, and I don't know if this brought it, but I just searched what's the major religion in France. So this is an AI overview. It says the largest religious group in France is Christianity, with Catholicism being the dominant branch. So if Christianity is the largest religious group in France, I thought Christianity believed in the Bible.
Yeah, they do.
So how you?
They say they do. I gonna say they do.
Right, they claim. They
say
make the claim that they do.
Yeah.
They claim to believe the Bible, but we teaching the Bible, but they banning us.
Somebody don't know their Bible.
Exactly.
Can we get that article that I just posted in the videos articles to be used on the show? Let's see that. Okay, but after we finish the officer point.
Real quick before you pull it up, let's read Psalms chapter 50 and verse 16. This proves that statement that France don't believe in the Bible. Even the major religious group being Christianity ain't the Christianity of the Bible. It ain't the Christians of the Bible. They're not the Christians of the Bible, because if they were, they wouldn't be trying to ban us.
Who they worshiping then? They got the Bible open. Who they worshiping?
Got to be worshiping Satan.
Because if we are actually teaching the Bible in its truest context and they say they got the Bible open and they believe in the Bible,
Right.
but they against what we saying. Isn't the definition of Satan the anti or the person who goes against or the adversary to the truth of the
Exactly.
Bible?
Yup.
Hey, we might be dealing with Satan here.
Yup.
We pulling back the wool on this nigga.
Read that.
Psalms chapter 50 and verse 16. But unto the wicked, God saith, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth?
Now the wicked, when you look at Malachi 1 and 3, let's read it real quick. Just read it real quick just to paint the full picture. Because most of the time, or oftentimes, y'all, we talk about how, we point out how America is the wicked. They the main ones, but
Right.
it's just not America. You got France, which we talking about today. You got Russia. You got Europe, the UK. They all are the same people.
That's right.
Well, go ahead.
Malachi chapter 1 and verse 3. And I hated Esau and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished.
Is that what I want? Hold on, let me look at it.
It's in verse 4.
Go ahead.
Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down. And they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever.
So France is Edom, and they are the wicked. They are the wicked. So Edom, Esau, is the so-called white man, which is also the French. They are the wicked. So let's go back to Psalms 50.
Psalms chapter 50 and verse 16. But unto the wicked, God saith, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes? Or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth?
They shouldn't even be uttering out their mouth talking about they Christians or they Christianity. They have nothing to do with this Bible, and they show it by their actions. Read.
Seeing thou hatest instruction, and casteth my words behind thee.
They cast the words of God behind. We telling our people, we getting our people off drugs. We getting our people off of whoredom.
Right.
We establishing households. We
Making
getting our
man
people,
responsible for their children.
right. We doing good for our community.
Right.
But they don't like the good. They want us to stay in the midst of sin. They want us to stay impoverished. They want us to stay like that. That's why they have a
Christians,
problem
they got the
with it.
Bible open. Christians with a Bible open are supposed to want better, right?
Nah, they obviously they don't want better for us.
Shit. The devil. Let's go. Give me the art. You still got more? Go ahead.
Jump to 19. Did we read? Yeah, jump to 19. Let's read through 21 real.
Verse 19. Thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue frameth deceit.
That's what we witnessing. They speaking deceit against us. They in that article that we just read, it said that we incite violence. When have you ever over what? It's been 22 years that the organization. Where's the violence?
Bring it out.
Where's the proof? Where is the violence that Israel United in Christ has incited? Nothing. There's nothing there. That's deceit. Read.
Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother.
It's thou sittest and speakest against thy brother. Because for those of you that don't know, Esau is our brother.
That's right.
What is it?
Hate to claim that, sad to claim that, but
yeah, it is. But he's our brother. That's what it says. Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother. Read.
Yep.
Thou slanderest thine own mother's son.
They slander. This is what we witnessing. They slandering us. You have no accounts of no evil done
Right.
by the organization, but yet they pin it as we doing something wrong.
Right.
When all we doing is actually building up our community and changing the brothers and sisters' lives. Well, go ahead.
These things hast thou done, and I kept silence. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such an one as thyself. But I will reprove thee and set them in order before thine eyes.
This is what they don't understand. We're going to be set in order no matter what you do.
Yep.
The Most High is setting us in order before your eyes, and it's scared. You're getting scared because you know as we get set in order, your destruction is coming nigh.
They see it.
And the Most High is revealing, like, nah, I wasn't cool with what you was doing. I was just letting the prophecies come to pass. But now it's time to rouse up things.
That's
and
right.
Judgment is coming.
That's right.
Judgment is coming. Go ahead, officer.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get to that article, because it's going to actually touch on the slander. It's going to touch on, you know what I'm saying, the lies that they saying about us. Where is if we're such a bad organization, if we've done so many different things, where is the proof, right? This is from Le Prégine or Le Présent, something like that.
Because it's crazy when you just y'all could keep it. It's crazy because normally when you have accusations or you have an article written about somebody doing certain levels of evil, you have proof.
Yeah,
it's a video showing. If you go in court,
you
got to present proof.
You touching on it. That's exactly what this is. You touching right 100% dead smack on it.
But go ahead.
Let's get it.
Les Péraisons, suspected of advocating warlike discourse.
Stop.
Learning French.
Stop. What that first word say?
Suspected.
You hear that? Not proven, simply suspected of doing what?
Of advocating warlike discourse.
What that mean? That simply mean
that's an allegation.
They're accusing us of something concerning the way we talk. Not that we're inciting violence.
Right.
Not that we're going out and we're saying, okay, we're about to attack here, here, and there. Not that we're planning violence, but that we're advocating warlike discourse. What does that even mean?
Right.
What is warlike discourse? That's so vague. They like to talk in circles. They like to talk in parables. They like to talk in broad terms to make you fill in the definition of what their vague terms could actually mean. So
right.
Unsuspecting person reading this article will be like, damn, they trying to go to war? They want to go to war with France? Right. That's what the intended outcome is for them writing that the way they wrote that.
Yep.
Can I get a scripture?
Go ahead.
Let's go to Daniel. Daniel 6. Because we might start at 1. Because what's happening is they can't find any dirt on us. So they got to accuse us off of assumptions. They got to accuse us based off of suspicions, right? Not hard, concrete evidence, but suspicions. Damn, what type of world we live in where we can accuse people off of what we think in our brain without actually having proof? That's not a world I want to live in. Let's read that.
Daniel chapter 6 and verse 1. It pleased Darius to set over the kingdom 120 princes, which should be over the whole kingdom, and over these 3 presidents, of whom Daniel was first, that the princes might give accounts unto them, and the king should have no damage. Then this Daniel was preferred above the presidents and princes.
Daniel, or the Israelites, was preferred before the president, above the presidents and princes. The rulership of the world today. All the presidents in the world, all the princes and kings, and all the established order, the Lord chose the Israelites above all them. Read it again.
Then this Daniel was preferred above the presidents and princes.
How you think they felt about that? You think they felt enamored and endeared by the fact that this nigga is chosen above them? Read.
Because an excellent spirit was in him.
An excellent spirit is within us. That excellent spirit that's within us is the fact that we know who our God is. The fact that we want to uphold the laws of the Lord. That's the excellent spirit that's within us. Everybody can't do that. Everybody can't embody that.
Right.
That's why we're chosen above the rest. You understand that? We understand what it entails, but every day we work ourselves up to be what the Lord made us to be. And that's his chosen. Go ahead.
And the king thought to set him over the whole realm.
Right. The Lord, our God, wants to set us up over the whole realm. Wants to have us rule this whole earth, this whole globe. Right? Go ahead.
Then the presidents and princes sought to find occasion against Daniel.
They want to find a reason to knock him down off his square. That's what they want to do. They want to find something in his character, something in his speech to make the king see that he's not worthy. That's the job of Satan. Satan is accusing his brother every day,
Right.
trying to find occasion against him. Go ahead, read.
concerning the kingdom.
Uh-huh.
But they could find none occasion.
But you
nor
can't
fault.
find no occasion or no fault. You can't find anything that we're going off on concerning your laws. You got to make up new laws to ensure that we transgress against your laws.
Right.
Otherwise, we ain't transgressing your laws. We ain't. Read.
For as much as he was faithful, neither was there any error or fault found in him.
So what they got to do?
Then said these men, we shall not find any occasion against this Daniel.
And they know that. That's why this dumbass article say they are suspected of advocating warlike discourse. You can read this with any level of sense and intelligence and say, these niggas is, they ain't got nothing against us. Read.
Except we find it against him concerning the law of his God.
Go ahead.
Then these presidents and princes assembled together to the king.
So if we in the midst of sin, guess what? Then they can knock us down off our pedestal. They know that. If they make laws to where we can't keep the Sabbath, that's going to knock us off our pedestal. If they make laws to where we can't profess the name of who we truly are, that's going to knock us off our pedestal. If we can't teach our people to repent, they think that's going to knock us off our pedestal. Read.
And said thus,
Where you at? Quote the verse.
verse 6.
Verse 6. Okay, go ahead.
Then these presidents and princes assembled together to the king, and said thus unto him, King Darius, live forever.
Ass kissers. Go ahead.
All the presidents of the kingdom, the governors and the princes, the counselors and the captains have consulted together to establish a royal statute.
What that sound like? That sound like Psalms 82. Or I'm sorry, is it Psalms 86? Where they consented together against thee? Which one is that? Psalms 83? That sounds like Psalms 83, where the nations are confederate against the children of Israel. Read it again.
All the presidents of the kingdom, the governors and the princes, the counselors and the captains have consulted together to establish a royal statute. And to make a firm decree. That whosoever shall ask a petition of any god or man for 30 days, save of thee, O king, he shall be cast into the den of lions.
You hear that? Whoever worships their God and they don't pay reference to you, king, you got to punish them. So everybody in their little think tanks told the king of France or the ruler of France, listen, we got these niggas and they over here doing something they ain't supposed to be doing. They trying to rebuild that city. And guess what? How about instead of allowing the prophecies to continue to unfold, we stop them, we hinder them, and we punish them for worshiping their God? Read.
Now, O king, establish the decree and sign the writing, that it be not changed, according to the law of the Medes and the Persians.
The
Medes and Persians, which altereth not. Wherefore, King Darius signed the writing and the decree. Now, when Daniel knew that the writing was signed.
You hear that? Daniel knew that the writing was signed. Daniel understood. Daniel was a watchman. Daniel paid attention to what was going on where he was living at so he wouldn't be blindsided by anything that happened. You understand? So he could properly prepare. Read.
He went into his house, and his windows being open.
And what did he do?
In his chamber toward Jerusalem.
Did he stop? Did he stop worshiping the Lord? Or did he continue? For some of you, when the decree go out, will you stop worshiping the Lord? Or will you continue? Will you bow down or will you give it up? Read. Let's see what Daniel did.
He kneeled upon his knees 3 times a day.
No, just once.
3 times a day.
He ain't stopped. He kneeled 3 times a day. Doing what?
And prayed.
To who?
And gave thanks before his God.
Before who?
His God.
Nah, before King Darius.
His God.
Nah, before the French government.
His God.
You hear that? Go ahead.
As he did aforetime.
So it ain't stopped him from doing what he needed to do. Nah, I'm not advocating for my brothers and sisters in France to do anything that's going to jeopardize them. But look what he did on an individual basis. He still entreated the Lord. There's a workaround to everything that goes on around you, right? There's a workaround. Continue to entreat the Lord. It don't matter what's going on around you. Never give up the fight. Never give up, never give in is the chant we say after every class. Never give up, never give in, because it's going to get real. It's going to get serious. First, they're going to try to, I forget what scripture they pull. First, they're going to try to accuse you and lie on you, and then they're going to try the persecution. So this is level one, the lying, the deceiving, or the deceit.
Right.
Y'all know what's next. That's it.
And real quick.
And then just to wrap this up, they told on Daniel, and then he was thrown into the lion's den, but the Lord saved him, so on and so forth. Don't lose your faith. The Lord going to save you, straight up.
Right. And then just showing that shows that this is just this is like what the scriptures say. The judgment is like a ring.
Yep.
It's the same thing happen over and over again. We see this happen in Daniel. Go to Esther chapter 3 and verse 8. It's the same thing, because us keeping the laws vexes the other nations.
That's
because they know when we keep the laws that the Most High is with us.
Right.
The book of Esther, chapter 3 and verse 8. And Haman said unto King Ahasuerus, there is a certain people scattered abroad and dispersed among the people in all the provinces of thy kingdom. And their laws are diverse from all people, neither keep they the king's laws.
So this is where they lied.
Yeah.
It say our laws is diverse from others. Yes, our laws are diverse from other laws.
Yep.
But then he added to it. He said, what? Read that again.
And their laws are diverse from all people, neither keep they the king's laws. Therefore, it is not for the king's profit to suffer them.
So, and this is what they do. They lie. They say that we don't keep the king's laws. Now, of course, if it contradicts the Bible, of course, we're not going to keep that.
Right.
But go to Romans real quick. Hold this. Romans 13 and 1. Because this is what goes on. This is deceit. This is the deceit and lies that they place up against us. But yet, the Bible that we read, that they supposedly read, tells us to do this.
Romans chapter 13 and verse 1. Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers. For there is no power but of God. The powers that be are ordained of God.
So we commanded to keep the laws of the land.
Yeah.
As long as it doesn't go against the commandments of God, we keep the laws of the land. So we are taught to be upstanding citizens in whatever
realm or rulership.
Rulership we under. But here we reading that Haman said they don't keep the king's laws.
Damn liar.
Go back.
Esther chapter 3 and verse 8. And Haman said unto King Ahasuerus, there is a certain people scattered abroad and dispersed among the people in all the provinces of thy kingdom. And their laws are diverse from all people, neither keep they the king's laws. Therefore, it is not for the king's profit to suffer them. If it please the king, let it be written that they may be destroyed. And I will pay 10,000 talents of silver to the hands of those that have the charge of the business, to bring it into the king's treasuries.
So Haman had an evil plot to destroy us, all because Mordecai wouldn't bow to him.
Damn.
All because Mordecai wouldn't bow to him, because it goes against the commandments of God. Now he had hatred for us, and it's the same exact spirit. Because we teaching our people who they are according to the Bible, France is doing this same thing right now.
You know what? On that note of bowing, I don't want to go too far away from the topic, but the thing with bowing, you know, the Asians, the Asians, they do that. They acknowledge one another. They bow to each other, right? My son, he in martial arts, but I be teaching him, hey, don't do that to that flag. Right. Like you can acknowledge the person you probably contending with, but still I'm kind of on the fence with that because it's still bowing.
Right.
Now, I also be catching myself when I'm in the middle of my day and I see folks, some eat them, they'll do the what's up.
Right.
And then I turn around and be like, acknowledging them. I hate that. I be trying to catch myself like, don't bow your head. Just give them the same acknowledgement, head up knowledge. But I be trying to, you know what I'm saying, not bow down, being like in the spirit of the forefather.
Right. So let's go back to the original artist. So that probably should have started off with that.
Yeah.
Showing why we doing the class. Because they have done much evil, but they trying to accuse us of the evil that they doing.
Yes,
They've
sir.
done. If you look through history, everything they trying to accuse us of,
That's them.
they done.
That's the pot calling the kettle black, is what they say.
The devil.
So let's pull that back up. Yeah. 'Cause I don't think we finished that. Yeah.
No, we ain't finished that at all. We veered all the way off.
France demanding an indemnity of 150 million francs.
That's what I want. Did we ever pull that picture up that I sent? Because we was talking about how they say it's an agreement, but they demanded it.
Right.
And then the indemnity. Pull up that. Did y'all see that screenshot I posted about indemnity? The other one. That's the second one. No, it's what did I post? Did I post it?
We talked about indemnity.
Yeah. Okay.
Look at all that content. We finna run through all that.
Is that the first one? Yeah. So read that.
Indemnity refers to a contractual agreement where one party, the indemnitor, agrees to compensate another party, the indemnity, for potential losses or damages, according.
So it says this is a contractual agreement where the parties agree.
So the indemnitor would be Haiti,
Yep.
and then the indemnity would be France.
Right.
So if you reread that, just plug them two names in place of indemnitor and indemnity.
Indemnity refers to a contractual agreement where one party, Haiti, agrees to compensate another party, France, for potential losses or damages, according to the universities of Wisconsin. It's essentially a promise to protect someone from financial harm or
The
liability.
someone is Haiti.
Nah, this would be France.
It's essentially a promise to protect someone from financial harm or liability. Got you. Protect France, because it's like it'd be like insurance or something.
Right. Because France came back on
Right.
like y'all crippled us
Right.
by being free.
Right. Got you.
This can be a specific agreement or a more general clause within a larger contract, says the LII Legal Information Institute.
So we could drop that. We could keep going. But just bringing that out because it's to go further to show that wasn't no consensual agreement.
Nah. Nope.
That was it was forced on us.
Yes, it was.
So go back to the Haitian independent debt.
France demanding an indemnity of 150 million francs is 5 annual payments of 30 million to be paid by Haiti in claims over property including Haitian slaves that was lost through the Haitian Revolution in return for diplomatic recognition. Haiti was forced to take a loan for the first 30 million, and in 1838, France agreed to reduce the remaining debt to 60 million to be paid over 30 years, with the final payment paid in 1883. However, the New York Times estimates that because of other loans taken to pay off this loan, the final payment to debtors was actually in 1947. They approximated that in total, 112 million francs was paid in indemnity, which was adjusted for the inflation rate would be 560 million in 2022. But considering that if it had been invested in the Haitian economy instead, it could be valued at $115 billion.
That's evil as hell. $115 billion.
The hell is this?
So this is the many evils that the French have done. Pull up that next image. The le one. How you say that?
Lejune. The Lejune case. Lejune.
So let's pull that up real quick.
Lejune.
The Lejon case was a suit brought by 14 slaves against torture and murder by their master, Nicolas Lejon, in the French colony of Saint-Domingue in 1788. Lejon was accused of torturing and murdering 6 slaves.
San Domingo, that's Haiti. Go ahead.
Who he said had planned to poison him. Despite overwhelming evidence of Lejon's guilt, courts ruled in favor of the planter, demonstrating the complicity of Saint-Domingue's legal system in the brutalization of slaves. The Haitian Revolution, ending slavery in Saint-Domingue, would begin only 3 years later.
So real quick, so we read this a lot for the things that happen today, but this is another evil. It says, go back up. This is another, go back to that same word that we read, suspected. It says he tortured and murdered 6 slaves he said had planned to poison them.
Damn.
He just said it, so he assumed that they planned to poison them. Go to
Not that they actually poisoned him and he got
Right,
sick, but that
right.
they planned it. Okay.
Zechariah 11:5.
The book of Zechariah, chapter 11 and verse 5.
Wait a minute, that was 6 slaves.
Yeah.
6. If they wanted to, they could have killed him. They could have banded together while they saw the first one get killed and killed him. If they really wanted him dead.
Right.
Damn.
Zechariah chapter 11 and verse 5. Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. And they that sell them say, Blessed be the Lord, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not.
This is the same thing that was happening then. It's what the same thing that's happening now. It ain't no different. It ain't no different.
Right.
Pull up that next one. The slavery and remembrance.
Same piece or new piece?
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Go live. Go live. You use the same piece? Use the same piece? The same piece?
Slavery and Remembrance, a guide to sites, museums, and memory. Haiti, Saint-Domingue. View of the 40 days of fire of the plain houses at Camp Francis, August 23rd, 1791.
Go to the next image. This is pretty much, it's going into the same thing. Actually, because it's going to the same thing, we could drop that. We probably can come back to this and go into it just for time's sake. Let's go to the next one. Let's go to that next video.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Let's put it on screen. Let's put it on screen.
Did black people sell their own into slavery? If you say that you're falling for a colonialist lie, here's why. The idea that all Africans were one people is a European concept, not historical reality. Africa is massive, home to thousands of cultures, languages, and ethnic groups. A kingdom in West Africa didn't see itself as the same as another kingdom hundreds of miles away. They weren't selling their own people. They were selling outsiders, prisoners of war, and rivals. Let's flip the script. If Ireland went to war with Poland, would you say they were fighting their own people just because both nations are white? No. Then why does this logic get applied to Africa? Because white supremacy has flattened all African cultures into a single label, black, erasing the diversity and complexity of the continent. The transatlantic slave trade wasn't some internal betrayal. It was a deliberate system designed by European powers who armed and manipulated African rulers while reaping all the profits. Who really built the system? Who really benefited? It wasn't Africa. It's time to challenge the colonial narrative.
Make you think, who built the system?
Right.
Why was there slaves in Haiti? Who had control over the region of Haiti? And then the region of the Louisianas up in the Americas. And then the region of Canada in North America. Who had control over that? The French. So they are responsible for the slavery. Let's go to that article. Did you ever get that article?
Yeah, it's in there.
Let's
pull that
I don't know what they
article
got
up before
queued
that.
up. But let's pull the article up.
'Cause I think the video is going the same thing, but let's pull that article up first.
All right. It should be a link.
While we looking for that, get Joel chapter 3, verse 4. Because what that AI video just said is facts. It's biblical. It wasn't Africans selling Africans.
Right.
Joel chapter 3. Let's go straight to 4.
The book of Joel, chapter 3 and verse 4. Yea, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coast of Palestine?
So the Tyre and Zidon are the Africans, the real Hamites. Palestine is the Arabs. Read.
Will ye render me a recompense? And if ye recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own head.
So when the Africans, so just to be more specific than the video, Africans were selling Israelites, and they knew they were selling Israelites because, like the video did say, there was thousands of cultures across Africa.
Yes.
And us, the Israelites, we were living in Africa because we fled from Jerusalem.
Yep.
In 70 AD,
yep,
fleeing from persecution, and we fled there because we blend in. We have the same skin tone.
Yep.
They knew we was different, and they sold us. Read.
Because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things. The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem.
So the 12 tribes of Israel, the nation of Israel, read.
Have ye sold unto the Grecians?
He sold unto the white man. Read.
That ye might remove them far from their border.
That they may remove us far from our border, far from our culture, far from what we know.
So in this article from Oxford, like Bishop would say from Oxford, you got to say it with that extended Ox, right? Oxford bibliographies, right? There is evidence and proof, historical documentation in about 7 or 8 different citations that's listed on this sheet about the French and their hand in the transatlantic slave trade. If we could just pull it up on screen and read the introduction, let's get into it.
For more than 2 centuries, French settlements in Africa and the Americas relied on enslaved laborers to produce colonial commodities and perform domestic service.
See, we don't hear that history. We don't hear that history. The most we hear about is the so-called white man or the Arabs.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And when I say white man, I mean the American, British white man. But the French had that dirty, they stink. You know how they stink. The French, they stink. They had their dirty, stinking hands on our people as well. Go ahead.
Between the 1620s and the 1840s, more than 1 million Africans and thousands of Amerindians,
so like the native Indians, the native so-called Native American Indians. Go ahead.
Lived as slaves in France's American colonies.
Yep. Y'all know what the American colonies are. That's the Caribbeans, that's the Louisiana area, and then the Canadian territory.
By the time of the Haitian Revolution, about 500,000 enslaved people lived in Saint Domingue alone, and another 150,000 labored in Martinique and Guadeloupe.
Uh-huh.
Although concentrated in the Caribbean, enslaved people lived in all of France's Atlantic colonies under widely varying conditions.
Right.
From the infamous Code Noir,
Code Noir. So that's like their black codes. That's like, the so-called blacks in America had to face Jim Crow laws, right? The codes that's specific, or laws and traditions that's specific to adversely affect our people in the French colonies. Go ahead.
From the infamous Code Noir to the Haitian Revolution, slavery, resistance, and emancipation in French settlements played a significant role in the larger history of slavery in the Atlantic world.
So the French, that was a bomb right there. Boom, that was a bomb. So the French did have a hand on it. If you scroll up, had their hand on slavery. If you scroll up, we could look at some of these different citations. If y'all see some of these books, y'all could pause them, go into them, read them. We're going to go on with the show. Just scroll up and let's see all these little citations. So that's history. That's proven history. That's facts. All right, we don't just make this stuff up. We don't just go off of AI-generated stories. We got sources to back it up.
Right, because them AI-generated stories is actually pulling this information and just piecing it together.
That's right. We got time to go to the Sarah Bartman, or you wanted to go somewhere else?
You can bring that out.
Go to the research channel, the French research channel.
Well, you know what? Before you do that, let's play that last video because it's going to the same thing with this.
Okay. Matter of fact, I'm gonna post it. So y'all can get to it.
Is it true most of France's financial wealth right now is still built on
$500 billion a year
Wow.
from Africa?
from Africa?
Wow.
500. That's a lot
And
of
is
money.
it true that the deals are such that an African nation that has this deal with France cannot do business around the world with their natural resources without the first right of refusal with
First
France?
right of refusal is in
And they can
France's
still
hand.
tell them no.
They can still tell them no.
So if they've dug gold, coffee, cocoa,
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
they go to France like, hey, you guys want this? And they say, nah. And they say, okay, we're going to sell it over here. France can still say, nah, you can't do that.
Yep.
So insane.
And all those nations still run on the French franc, which is also hilarious because even France has
Goes
the
on the
euro.
euro.
Exactly.
So wait, they buy money from France with their own natural
So, yeah,
resources.
and if they don't
that's not
comply-
even worth anything in France.
Yep. And if they don't comply, the faucet's turned off immediately.
That's Boris Kujo, right? And he from France? Germany? Okay.
That's crazy. Get real quick. Get Proverbs 21:6. Because that's extortion.
Yes, it is.
They literally robbing them of their resources and then telling them that they can't sell their own resources to nobody else unless France approves it.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 21 and verse 6. The getting of treasures by a lying tongue is
That's cold. Go ahead.
The getting of treasures by a lying tongue is a vanity tossed to and fro of them that seek death.
Whoa. It says the getting of treasures by a lying tongue. That's what how you think they got in there? They lying. They have a lying tongue, and it said it's a vanity tossed to and from of them that seek death. So the Most High God is letting it be known. France is seeking death.
Damn, they got a death wish.
Because they getting treasures by a lying tongue. Read on.
The robbery of the wicked shall destroy them, because they refuse to do judgment.
So they're going to be destroyed. The Most High is going to destroy them.
Damn.
Because that's what they are doing. One more, Jeremiah 22:13.
Jeremiah chapter 22 and verse 13. Woe unto him that buildeth his house by unrighteousness, and his chambers by wrong, that useth his neighbor's service without wages, and giveth him not for his work.
So when you deal with Haiti, they enslaved them, and then when Haiti broke free, they came back and said, you owe us.
That's worse than enslaving them. Like you putting salt on the wound.
Right.
Not only did they take the resources from them and not pay them, but they robbed them at the end of it. That's cold for a long period of time. That's cold blooded,
Right.
boy.
So
Only a devil can think like that.
And that's them building their house off unrighteousness. Just like we just watched the video, they got their hand in Africa.
Yes.
Robbing Africa of its resources.
Yes.
And Africa got to check with them before they sell their own resources. That makes no sense.
And what's crazy is the dollar or the system of trade that they use, which is the franc. The French don't even use the franc.
Right.
So they can't even take the money that they got from the resources and use that money with nobody else.
That's building your house by unrighteousness.
Damn.
Because it's really like you giving them nothing. You just robbing them of their resources, really. You're not giving them nothing in return.
Truth.
You're not really giving them nothing.
Truth.
There's no trade going on. You just taking it, but making it seem like that's that lying tongue.
Damn.
They making it seem like they giving them something to compensate, but they really not.
You know what I see though, and I'm looking ahead in the future a little bit. The BRICS, okay? What's that? Britain, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, and some other African countries. You see, Russia is in good talks and good deals with Burkina Faso, right? Burkina Faso is kicking France out, like I mentioned earlier, right? Getting off of their franc system. We don't want nothing to do with you. Why? They setting up the BRICS. They setting BRICS up. This is how it looks to set BRICS up. You're going to hear more about BRICS a little bit in the future, but once they start to be a real contender, you're going to see more assassination attempts on these African leaders, like you've been seeing. Like every other week, you hear about Abraham being attempted assassination. So, yeah, we might have to touch on that sometime in the future, but a lot of this turmoil that we see going on could be because of the BRICS takeover.
Yeah. So you can go ahead.
Yeah. Let's talk about Sarah Bartman. What else is France responsible for? I didn't know this. I did not know. Obviously, Asa, all praise to the Most High, he was in the spirit. He looked this information up, and he was talking about it. I was like, I don't know. I don't know who actually put her in captivity, but y'all know Sarah Bartman. She is the sister that was endowed, right, to say the least, shaped like none of these other sisters or none of these other Edomites, right? So she was what they would deem a freak show. If we go down, let's go to, I think, later in life. Let's go down to later in life. Okay, life. Hit life. Let's go to life. And it's going to go down. So. Later in life. Yep, go down. Go down. A lot of people know the history of Sarah Bartman, so I ain't going to go into who she is, but we just going to go into what happened to her right there. What happened to her. If you want to know about it, just read up on her, you know what I mean? But we're going to read this point right here.
Sarah Bartman, later life. She traveled to England of her own free will, but appears to have changed when she traveled to France.
So her own free will of traveling to France wasn't different. It was different. She was taken there by force. Go ahead.
A man called Henry Taylor took Bartman there around September 1814.
That's a key date, September 1814. Go ahead.
Taylor then sold her to a man sometimes reported as an animal trainer.
Sold her to an animal trainer. And where was she sold at? Where was this? This was in France. Okay, go ahead.
S. Raw, but whose name was actually John Raw.
So the French, they actually condone this type of behavior. This is 1814. Civilized France. You understand that? France that's civilized. They did what? They allowed this man to put this sister on display. Let's go down. Let's go down some more. Let's go down. Let's go down. What that say? She was bought out as
an exhibit at wealthy people's parties.
Wealthy people party. They like to look, poke, and pride, and just look at this as if this is something unique. I've never seen nothing like this before. Right? Remember, the bishop bringing out all the time. You get wealthy, you get a lot of money and influence, and you think you are impervious to the laws of God. That's why the scripture said, what are you to do with my law? What are you to declare my law? Right? Go ahead, because they don't enforce the laws. Go ahead.
wealthy people's parties, and private salons.
Uh-huh.
In Paris, Bartman's promoters did not need to concern themselves with slavery charges.
All right, go down. Death and aftermath.
Death and aftermath.
How long did it take her to die? Go ahead.
Bartman died on 29 December 1815.
That was 1 year and 2 months later, because she got there in September 1814. Being slaved and taken around to these different places. What do you think they be doing at these different parties, these rich people parties, where nothing is restrained from them, and they see something that they intrigued by and want to actually explore it? Who gonna stop them? They got the whole backing of the government. The government probably was in there. The government was in there.
Right.
They allowed it to go on. They knew this was going on because the rich and the wealthy and the elite knew about what was going on. Let's see what was suspected. What was her suspected cause of death? Keep reading.
Around age 26 of an undetermined inflammatory ailment, possibly smallpox, while other sources suggest she contracted syphilis.
Syphilis. Why would they think she contracted syphilis? Because they knew what she was being passed around to do. They knew what she was in captivity for. Let's go to Joel 3 again. My brother just read Joel 3 and 4, but we're going to read Joel 3 and 3. This is all scriptural. The French match the actual precepts. Go ahead. Let's bring it up.
The book of Joel, chapter 3 and verse 3. And they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine, that they might drink.
They sold my sister for wine that they might consume. She was the equivalent of a bottle of wine. All you had to do was just take out, highest bidder, go ahead and hit her. I sound like I had a bar right there. Should have been a bomb. But nonetheless, the French is responsible for captivities on so many different levels, all right? I think was that it? Was that it? Oh, one more thing to point out. After she died, they kept her body on display. Her body parts was on display until about, is that on there? Y'all got that? No, I ain't got that. Her body parts was, yeah, that's right there. Let's bring it up.
Display of remains. Saint Hélène applied on behalf of the Muséum d'Histoire Naturelle to retain her remains. Cuvier had preserved her brain, genitalia, and skeleton.
Come on, man. What you gonna, all right, keep reading.
On the grounds that it was of a singular specimen of humanity and therefore of special scientific interest.
They ain't never seen nothing like that before. There was an anomaly. So they had to preserve it and keep it and show everybody, look what this sister was sitting on. Go ahead.
The application was approved, and Bartman's skeleton and body cast were displayed in Muséum d'Histoire Naturelle des Anges.
So what date was that? Let's jump to these dates. Because I want to get back to that article, because there was something in that article that's going to point out to who she is. Go ahead. It says it was removed, the skeleton was removed in 1974. 1974. And then when you read further, she didn't get buried until 2002. So let's go back to that article. There's something in that article on a later in death that I wanted to read. The Wikipedia article on Sarah Bartman. Go back to the article you just had up. All right, it's still up. Okay, I'm tripping. All right, scroll down just a little bit. Scroll down, because I want to see the death. Okay, life. What's that? Later in life. Scroll up just a little bit. It's something to show the Jew's harp. The Jew's harp. Where's that at?
Okay.
All right, go up to the point where read that part about the Jew's harp. Remove that, and let's read the sentence that says he describes her shoulders. Go ahead, read her.
He describes her shoulders and back as graceful, arms slender, hands and feet as charming and pretty. He adds she was adept at playing the Jew's harp.
Why she was adept at playing the Jew's harp? Maybe she was a Jew. Maybe that's where her people hailed from. Maybe that she was part of that diaspora who understood how to play the Jew's harp. Keep reading.
Could dance according to the traditions of her country. And had a lively personality.
That's it. Let's go maybe to the next piece of content or to commercial. It might be commercial time.
So yeah, so that's gonna conclude the topic for today. Lord's will, we're gonna continue this topic.
Definitely gonna
next
continue
week.
this topic.
So we're gonna go right into commercials, and we'll be right back.
That's right.
Oh yeah, hey, y'all already know where I'm on my way to. I don't know where you on your way to, but if you ain't on your way there, I don't know what to tell you. Cause it's blessing season. Hey, look, man, hey, everybody, y'all better show up for this one, man. Y'all better show up, man. We got the big dogs stomping on this blitz, man. Look, Milwaukee is going down. Tell everybody, man. Here's your mama.
Use the left lane to make a U-turn.
Got the message early morning. Got the order for the city, yeah, we storming. I need all soldiers ready for war. Got 50 cities we need to tour. Oh yeah, finally I'm in the green. I'm bold as a lion, got the heart of a king. We gon' blitz your cities, pastors one at a time. Robbing our people, taking offering and tithes. Don't pack your bags and try to run out of town, cause we gon' blitz your cities, pastors one
Christ is a
at
black
a
man
time.
according to the Bible. If you read Revelation chapter 1 and verse 14, Christ is a black man according to the Bible.
I shine my boots, my purple earned. Off to the next city, who's all gonna roll with me? On gas, I got 50, I got my Bible with me. Finally, I'm in the green. I'm bold as a lion, got the heart of a king. We gon' blitz your cities, pastors one at a time. Robbing our people, taking offering and tithes. Don't pack your bags and try to run out of town, cause we gon' blitz your cities, pastors one at a time. We gon' blitz your cities, pastors one at a time. Robbing our people, taking offering and tithes. Don't pack your bags and try to run, cause we gon' blitz your cities, pastors one at a time.
Yeah, amber color with the full face, eyes brighter than the sun, looking every way. On a mission, if God tell me hit the place, my soul going crazy till it break, or he tell me stay. I'm in the sun, waiting patient. Listen to the Father, taking heed to the ancients. The price upon their head like they did in our enslavement. We gon' bring this kingdom down, you can call it down payment. Punishment coming in a lump sum. They getting fired from the pit, yeah, they done. I wanna be there when they try to fight us punch drunk. Then watch them all turn to smoke when the sun come. The word fire in his people would to try to beat us or defeat us, yeah, you wish you could. I can't wait until the day they off the surf for good. The book's open, and then the angels, we the angels. Fire with no wind, when we speak, we bring the flames through. Prophesy destruction, ain't no bluffing, ain't no fables. The zeal of the Lord, I'm like Christ flipping tables. We making same moves, cause we the angels. Fire with no wind, when we speak, we bring the flames through. Prophesy destruction, ain't no bluffing, ain't no fables. The zeal of the Lord, I'm like Christ flipping tables. We making same moves, cause we the angels.
I come from a long line of angels. Four mothers, it's Sarah, Leah, Rebecca, and Rachel. Perfection. Morning sun on my skin and most high be who I pray to. Marathon drip, ain't nobody about to race, boo. Make sure you put some proper respect on my daddy name. It's royalty that's flowing through my veins. See, I'm a wife to a king. It's a flex, it's a thing. Left his father and his mother, into me is who he claim. I go out of my way to make sure he got what he need. Birthing babies further our nation and race to see. We one with the speech, one with the moves, one with the body, one with the bruise. Payback gon' get gritty. I'll be sitting pretty while it's popping off. We gon' sing this little ditty. Red rum, angels hunting them down. Red rum, angels taking the crown.
We the angels, fire with no wind. When we speak, we bring the flames through. Prophesy destruction, ain't no bluffing, ain't no fables. The zeal of the Lord, I'm like Christ flipping tables. We make the same moves, cause we the angels. Fire with no wind. When we speak, we bring the flames through. Prophesy destruction, ain't no bluffing, ain't no fables. The zeal of the Lord, I'm like Christ flipping tables. We make the same moves, cause we the angels.
You can't tell where I was or where I went, or where I went in the chariot with a cherubim. American sinner, don't reach up to the seraphim. That bullshit, we getting Merrill Lynch. 7 spirits in the living north. We in the written Torah. You see how we did Gomorrah. What we did the core. Babylon, fit for slaughter. Wickedness in all its borders. Hummus Lord, Sayonara. Goodbye. Ancient of days, we cover the face. Minister the saints, never be breaking the ranks. Get the order to destroy, then we tell them thanks. In the day they shoot tanks like they shoot blanks. Holding back the full wind. We are black on our skin. We attack or defend. We are at war again. We will snap for our kin. All of God's command. Don't look at his other hand.
We the angels. Fire with no wind. When we speak, we bring the flames through. Prophesy destruction. Ain't no bluffing, ain't no fables. The zeal of the Lord, I'm like Christ flipping tables. We make the same moves, cause we the angels. Fire with no wind. When we speak, we bring the flames through. Prophesy destruction. Ain't no bluffing, ain't no fables. The zeal of the Lord, I'm like Christ flipping tables. We make the same moves, cause we the angels.
Yeah, man, that was good, man. Come on out. Let's listen to it. What's up?
She a hoe, bro.
No.
Yeah, bro.
What?
Yeah, I just found out, bro.
You should do a song about it. You should do a song. I'm tired of this.
I got something.
Already?
I got something, bro.
Dang.
Yeah, bro.
I'm out of beats, though. I don't even have a beat right now. God, if only we had a beat.
I actually got a beat. I was working on the beat right now. This is the perfect beat for exactly what y'all are talking about.
Boy, where the hell you come from, man?
Hey, I sent the beat to you. I sent it to you.
I got something, bro.
You got something?
I got something.
She's a pretty mamacita with some pretty brown eyes. A header with a heavy, it's all a disguise. She talk a good game, but then her heart is full of lies. Got a 6-shooter cooter, she be taking men's lives. Whoa, you gotta let her go. She tried to take it so. You got the bullet, boy, I tell you right now. Said, you gotta let her go. Thinking that you're holy, and then you're playing in my face just like you wanted me. But now you're sitting at the body looking lonely. But the truth of the whole matter, you was horny. Yeah, you ran all out of patience, you forgot I was the prize. Should've opened your Bible, you should've closed
Shame to your daddy ain't holding his head up high. Did all of that for nothing, I got us wondering why. Yeah, she's a pretty mama, see her with some pretty brown eyes. A heroin heavy, it's all a disguise. She talk a good game, but then her heart is full of lies. Got a 6-shooter cooler, she be taking men's lives. Whoa, you gotta let her go. She try to take your soul. You dodge a bullet, boy, I tell you right now. Said, whoa, you gotta let her go. She got a deep hole. She wiped her mouth and said she did nothing wrong. Ha, yeah, bang, bang, slinging that thing. Choo choo, you was riding that train. Yeah, it was you ain't got no one to blame. That kitty cat, man, them scriptures couldn't tame. You had a chance, yeah, you had a good thing. And now it's done, and life ain't all what it seemed. A nightmare, but it could have been a dream. But life goes on, I know one day this song you'll sing. Yeah, she's a pretty mama, see her with some pretty brown eyes. A heroin heavy, it's all a disguise. She talk a good game, but then her heart is full of lies. Got a 6-shooter cooler, she be taking men's lives. Whoa, you gotta let her go. She tried to take your soul. You dodged a bullet, boy, I tell you right now. Said, oh, you gotta let her go. She got a deep hole. She wiped her mouth and said she did nothing wrong.
Shalom, shalom, Most High in Christ bless. Welcome back. We're going to go right into our local news.
Yeah.
We're going to go to local news. We're going to kind of breeze through for sake of time, but we're going to go through our local news.
We have breaking news just into our newsroom right now. Charges just announced in the beating death of 16-year-old Kayla Love. We told you about this story earlier in our newscast. And we do know that a 15-year-old now faces charges. This after Kayla Love was found beaten, dead in a park and stabbed on March 17th.
So this is something that happened. I think this happened about a month or two.
Yep. March.
Back in March, early March, his sister was found dead at a park, and it took them a couple of weeks to actually find out what happened.
Okay.
They didn't. Somebody called the police. The police came, and they just sat in the car and looked. They didn't get out to really investigate or nothing. But these are the things that's happening.
So the crime was in progress, and police was called on the scene.
Yep.
Somebody was being a good Samaritan, doing what they should do, and called enforcements to make it stop.
Yep. So
and they just sat and watched it happen?
Right. So they could have possibly prevented her from dying.
Wow.
So these are the things that goes on in the community. These are the things that goes on in our community. This is
Chicago police weak as hell now though. They don't even do their job no more, really. I don't think they train them no more. I think they just hire a bunch of people to fill the role of law enforcement. But when you look at a lot of these different videos, they aren't an authority to force any, you know what I'm saying, compliance.
Right.
So you ever seen any of them videos of the kids? It was one recently, man. Just the recent what you call that?
The
teen
takeover.
The teen takeovers. Yeah, they had the teen takeovers. The police was just sitting there watching it happen.
Scared.
Did nothing. They most definitely scared because they're not being trained. That's the word. They ineffective.
Right.
Absolutely.
So pull up that global news.
U.S. This is the Middle East Eye. U.S. unleashed Israel with all the weapons it needs, says Trump deputy envoy.
So basically saying the U.S. is the ones giving Israel the weaponry that they using to destroy Gaza.
In an interview with Fox News, Morgan Ortagus said that former U.S. President Joe Biden's administration made Israel fight with one hand tied behind their back. They didn't have the weapons they needed, so they had to go back and get 30 and 40-year-old stockpiles of munitions, she said. Referring to Israel as Washington's closest ally, Ortagus noted that the Trump administration's first move in office was to ensure Israel has all the weapons it needs to finish its fight.
Damn.
The U.S. is the biggest arms supplier to Israel, accounting for 66% of the country's weapons imports between 2020 and 2024, according to the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute. In January 2025, weeks before Biden was set to leave office, Washington approved the sale of $20 billion in military equipment, including air-to-air missiles, Hellfire missiles, artillery shells, and bombs to Israel.
So that's it. That's the evils. That's the evils that we facing. U.S. is the U.S. is partnered with Israel to destroy Gaza for whatever their plot is, and we know their plot is to take Gaza and to rebuild it under their name.
Make it a resort.
Right. So you want to bring something out to pertain to that? Let's go to the next one, the Black History Facts. So we just breezing through it just for time's sake. We just presenting it, but just going through. Let's go to this Black History Facts.
Imagine a world without black inventors. Roads would be chaotic, lacking Garrett Morgan's traffic light, leading to countless accidents and confusion. Homes would be vulnerable, with no Marie Van Britten Brown security system to protect against intrusions. Elevators would pose dangers, as they would lack Alexander Miles's automatic doors, making simple journeys perilous. Food and medicines would spoil during transport, with no Frederick McKinley Jones's refrigerated trucks ensuring fresh delivery. Medical emergencies would be catastrophic, as Dr. Charles Drew's blood banks would not exist, costing countless lives. Everyday tasks like writing would be tedious without John Lee Love's pencil sharpener, and ironing clothes would remain cumbersome without Sarah Boone's improved ironing board. Thanks to these visionary black inventors, our lives are safer, smoother, and more efficient. They didn't just create, they reshaped the very fabric of society, paving the way for progress and innovation.
So for this one, I want to read one scripture. Get Matthew chapter 5 and verse 13.
That's right.
We're just going to read that first part, because the man said, without black inventors, the society won't be what it is today.
Facts.
Read that.
Matthew chapter 5 and verse 13. Ye are the salt of the earth, but if the salt have lost his savior, wherewith shall it be salted?
So it's that first part. We are the salt of this earth. If we wasn't here, this earth wouldn't be nothing. These nations wouldn't be nothing. None of these things that these nations have would be established without us. We are the salt of the earth. We are the ones that add flavor to this earth and style. So you got anything you want to touch on? So with that, we're going to close out. You have been watching us. You have been watching the Watchman Radio, the decree of the Watchman. We've been watching for your souls. I'm Officer Semachiah.
This is Officer Yokanan.
Shalom. See you next time. Shalom.
Hebrews 13:17, prophets on the scene, wash your souls clean before we go into the gasoline. Took a while to understand Psalms 111:10. Brother calling me from Mississippi, trying to build a man. I flushed 14